software that I've been using, and I think I got it. I think I got it licked just in time.
Maybe you're not supposed to lick it.
Well, here are the conditions out here at 6S5, Ravalli County. Cat 1, I think we have about 2 miles visibility. Clouds, I think they're about 2,000 feet above ground level.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, we were going to do this HAMEY 1 departure.
Right, I've got the plate up for HAMEY 1 departure. I see the only approved runway for takeoff is 34.
The departure route description says takeoff runway 16 not authorized, opposite. So we've got to have runway 34.
This is the one, I have the VOR-B approach.
Look just on that line, just south of the arcs, like where it looks like butt cheeks, there's a little R-159. So
Radial 159.
It's usually somewhere in there. But okay, so look at that. That's the 159 radial that you'll pick up for the approach. Now go back to the HAMEY 1 departure.
Okay. I'm at the HAMEY 1 departure.
And that radial that comes down is the 147, right, from Missoula?
Right.
And so when you're going from HAMEY to Missoula, you're going to cross that 159 radial to get to the 147 radial. Would that make sense to you? Can you realize that?
That makes sense to me.
And so assuming that we're going to cross that 159 radial on the HAMEY departure a little bit outside of 16 miles, then we'll be able to pick that baby up. And we need to be at the right altitude for obstacle clearance. Look at this OCFO and that broken line and the line that goes to the intercept of the 159 radial, 8,800 feet, no procedure turn. You see that? 8,800 NOPT to WURTH, 8,700 feet NOPT to WURTH, the 339 radial. Go back to the departure.
Climb to 9,000.
Okay, so 9's got us above both of those elements. So if we just climb to 9, we should be good. You only need to be at 9,000 to Missoula. Then when you read all aircraft climb in the Missoula VOR DME holding pattern, and it tells you how to hold. What I want is a DME box to pop up here.
There is a, well, all right. There, I've hit the DME box.
You're going to want to put in there the Missoula VOR.
112.80.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So 112.
All right, I'll hit bearing 1.
Yep, and you'll see a green arrow that's going to pop up. The GPS can fly a VOR approach, no problem. Matter of fact, it's more accurate than the VOR. But the regulations say that if it's not written as overlay approach, it would need to say VOR or GPS, and it doesn't say that.
All right, we've got to fly the VOR.
Well, you've got to be able to just at least see it. You can fly the HAMEY 1 departure until this green bearing pointer points to 339, or very close to it. What you can do next is you can switch the CDI from GPS to VOR1. The center knob is the course knob, which moves the VOR pointer. And you'll rotate that to 339, and then you can fly, you could do that. Yes, sir, that's it. You could do that to fly old school VOR if you wanted. You could do that to intercept, or you could use GPS to take you in, and that green bearing pointer will give you backup to tell you, yep, by golly, we are on that 339 radial.
VOR-B approach, if I remember what you told me, is that it doesn't line you up with an actual runway. You have to choose.
And if it says VOR Bravo or Alpha or a VOR-letter, it's not lined with a runway within 30 degrees. And there's another way besides seeing the VOR Bravo to tell you that. If you go all the way down to the bottom, the only minimums that it shows are circling minimums. Okay. It doesn't show straight in minimums because it's not a straight in approach. Expand the top of the approach plate where the end of the approach is, and now you can see graphically how this thing is misaligned. When you break out, don't expect to see that runway straight in front of you. It's not going to be. So what you're going to need to be ready to do is as soon as you go visual, you're going to have to turn to the right for a base leg to that runway, and then you're going to have to turn final approach, and you're going to be fairly far out, right? Because you're 1,800 feet above the runway.
That's true.
Then, of course, you need to have the missed approach figured out. This isn't a real complex missed approach. It goes up a valley to the west-northwest there, but it will be a climb to 9,600, and then direct to the VOR, which the VOR is going to be basically right in front of you, and then you're going to go out on the 285 radial to a holding pattern out there and hold. So you have that in your plan. As soon as we go visual and it looks good, we're going to turn to 030, keep our eyeballs on the runway, and then we're going to turn final approach when it makes sense. We want to get on that PAPI and fly it down to the runway, and that'll keep us safe.
Got it.
You got it.
I suspect I'm on the wrong side of the airport. Oh, look at that. It's right behind us here. So we're going to have a little bit of a taxi, but that's going to be fine.
That's one of the things you're really good at. Now, we always look to the right or on final to make sure nobody's coming. When the weather's bad, you can't see much. But,
couldn't see a whole heck of a lot there, but all right.
All right. Now, on IFR, as soon as you rotate and go into a climb off the runway, go straight on the instruments. There's nothing to see out the window.
Nothing to see. Straight on the instruments. Okay.
Okay, whenever you're ready to go, put the power to it.
All right.
You've got a plan. You know what it is.
Yeah, I sure do. We're gonna do climb for speed. Max climb 60 knots, I think.
Okay, if you want to do 60, that's fine.
Well, that's
altitude is your friend when there's terrain around.
understood.
Okay, so we're moving now.
Yep. 70 knots. Rotate. Straight up, and that is a heck of a climb right there. All right, climbing max climb for 60 knots.
Okay, and then whenever you want, you can go autopilot on, nav select, vertical speed.
All right.
My guess is that airplane
Autopilot
can
on.
do about 800 feet per minute, so 800 up is good.
Vertical speed, nose up, 800 feet. And I'm going to go ahead and retract the flaps.
That's a good one. Now, what you want to watch when you do that is what's the airspeed doing?
Looks like it's
If the
increasing 75, 76, holding steady 76.
Okay, so that's a pretty good climb rate then. If it's diminishing, then you'd need to lower the nose maybe 100 feet a minute. If the airspeed is increasing, you could raise the nose 100 feet.
I'm going to go ahead and raise the nose 100 feet. Now climbing 900. We've crossed Dapty. Nav is now turning to... there's not much of a turn. 4.7 nautical miles to HAMEY. Altitude 4,500 feet and continuing the climb.
All right, very good.
I'm going to go ahead and turn my landing lights and taxi lights off.
Yeah, you know what? I put assigned a switch on the yoke to turn off the strobes, because if they get in the clouds or it's at night,
Yeah.
they bounce back and they're irritated.
All right, we can turn the strobes off.
Yeah. Okay, so now you want to keep checking and verifying that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
All right.
GPS is controlling the airplane. The autopilot's on. Vertical speed. You're climbing at what does it say, 900 feet a minute.
I've reduced it to 800 feet a minute because speed was dropping, so we're now climbing 800 feet a minute.
Okay,
and speed's holding at 71 knots, dropping just a little bit.
That's all in control. And we're going direct HAMEY. HAMEY is the active waypoint. It's 3.7 miles by my display.
Yep.
Okay, that's good. Now you can look up here and you can see that green bearing pointer that's under the magenta.
Yep, I see.
HSI is pointing straight ahead. So Missoula is straight ahead. How many miles? 30 something? 39?
It says 36.4 nautical miles, and what we're expecting to do, what I expect is going to happen is in about 3 miles, we're going to turn right from HAMEY toward MEX UE, and we're going to start to see that bearing indicator change. Slowly.
Right. And it'll slowly creep towards the left.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to have to nose down a little bit and climb at a slower...
Okay, yeah. And you want to keep looking at that stuff, because I have got busy focusing on something else in the sim and stalled the airplane out.
You don't want to do that.
All of a sudden, everything's going haywire, and I'm going, what happened?
All right, crossing 6,000 feet for 9,000 feet. Speed is increasing. I'm going to go ahead and nose up, climb at 700 feet per minute. HAMEY now 2.0 nautical miles away and shows us right on course.
Yeah. Now, at any time, and you could do it now or you could wait a little bit, because it's going to be a little bit before we're ready to intercept that radial.
I see.
For the approach. But at some point along here, when you feel comfortable to do it, and that may be good when you're level at 9,000, it won't be too long.
Yeah.
And this is what it's like flying IFR. We
Sure.
did this. I just did this with Sheldon. You take off, and it's foggy or cloudy. You climb through the clouds, and all of a sudden, you're VFR on top.
Well, it's beautiful, and you could definitely see that terrain poking out up through the clouds there. This is some busy terrain.
Yeah. So anyway, what I'm saying is, at the point where you are comfortable to do it, you want to get. Yeah, there you go. That's real. That's terra firma.
Pretty firma.
Yeah. You don't want to test it, buddy.
It's terra firma. It no mova.
no moving. Okay, but at some point here, you're going to go back over to the nav display.
All right.
And you're going to go to procedure, and you're going to pull up this, you're going to select an approach, and you're going to select the VOR Bravo.
Got it. Well, we're going to go ahead and turn. It's turning now for MEX UE. So we're continuing to climb. I'm going to go ahead and nose down one to keep the speed up. Speed looks good. Nav looks good. Climb looks good. We're not established on 9,000. We have a minute or two. So let's go ahead and do this procedure.
Sure. Now, when you look on that nav display, look at how they've designed this, right? This thing takes us up this valley.
Yep.
That's not an accident. That's where it's safe to fly, right? The rocks are on either side of you, the big stuff.
Safer than almost anything else.
You bet. Okay, so we're going to go to procedure.
Procedure, okay.
And then you're going to have to go up 2 clicks to select an approach.
Select approach.
Right. Yeah, like I say, my display takes a few seconds to update.
All right.
So I'm not seeing that over here. Yeah, okay, so click 2 clicks up, select approach, and then enter that.
All right.
And then we're going to go down all the way to the VOR DME Bravo.
All right. And now it's saying, now it has another list, which is vectors, Bambi, Dairy, Jepson.
Let me go ahead and pull that up, because I don't remember which one I chose. None of them really work for what it is we're doing. Probably, what is Jepson is probably a good. That's what's called a transition. You
I see.
Transition. Yeah.
Now it's asking minimums.
You don't have to do that. You can do that, and it'll show a display. The problem is, look what the minimums are. It's 49.20.
Yeah.
And you've got to do like 49 clicks. You can't just dial it in with your fingers.
Never mind then. I don't want that.
No. In the real airplane, you just twist a knob and it's easy. But in this thing, it's 49 mouse clicks.
All right. So should we load?
You want to load it because if you did activate, it would make Jepson the active wave.
I see. We don't want to do that. Okay. I think it's working. I think it's been loaded but not activated.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So now let's go back. Let's minimize that. Go back to the PFD.
Okay.
And maximize that one, and let's see what we got going on here.
All right.
Now,
so as expected, the bearing line is shifting to the left, so that's good. That's as we expected.
Now here's another thing you can do. Click the CDI button down here in the very bottom center. CDI.
All right. If I do that in my nav mode, isn't it going to change my heading?
It might. So go ahead and take the heading bug, center the heading bug.
Heading bug centered.
And then select heading.
Heading selected.
Okay, so now look at the top. Look at the top, and it should say heading.
HDG. Yep, it does.
So now, by doing what I'm going to have you do, it'll stay on heading, and it won't go some crazy place.
We're leveling at 9,000. I'm going to go ahead and stabilize the throttles. Just give me a second.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. You want to prioritize and do whatever is the highest priority. And right now, that's the highest priority.
Yep, trust me, I will.
So set the power for cruise power.
All right. Let's see. Cruise power is going to be in the green zone. Is there a fixed RPM that we know of?
Well,
sometimes they've got those on placards or something.
Well, it depends on what it is you want to do. Okay, so if you want to go fast, you'll burn more fuel.
Yeah.
So you might want to have 2,500 RPM.
All right.
If you wanted long-range cruise, you'd be more fuel efficient, but you wouldn't be flying as fast.
I'll keep it at 2,300, and we'll just call that good. How does that sound?
Yeah, that's just fine.
All right, we're back to the PFD.
Okay, so go ahead to the PFD and click the CDI button.
CDI. All right, we now have VOR-1. I see course 339 has already been laid in by some smart guy.
There you go.
And
the course deviation indicator is just a little over 1 dot to the right.
All right. So it is. So we continue flying in this direction. We should see the course deviation indicators come over to the left.
It'll slowly start moving towards the center, and that blue bearing pointer under it will slowly start moving to align with that green HSI pointer.
Great. So everything's happening as we would expect it to happen.
Yeah. Now, what you can do here then is
hey, is that Tyler? I thought that was Tyler there for a second.
Hey, what's up?
Hey!
Big T,
It's actually
hey.
Charles. Charles and his dad are flying.
Hey,
Megan says hello.
Megan, how are you?
She's doing great.
We are about, what is it, 20 miles from Missoula, Montana?
26 miles from Missoula.
Ah.
And you're above the goo.
Looks good. Look at these mountains down here.
Beautiful. Boy, that is soupy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
all right. So let's get back to it here.
Yeah. Okay. So let's look at that VFB again when you're ready.
Yep. The CDI has drifted to the left, so it's doing what it's supposed to be doing.
And basically, what you can do is, as soon as that thing centers up, you can turn the heading to match it, and then you can go over to the flight plan and highlight the next fix that you want to go to is probably WURTH, right? WRTH.
Okay.
So when that thing's centered, you go to the flight plan.
All right.
You'll highlight WURTH. You'll press D arrow direct.
All right.
Enter it. Come back here, click the CDI button to GPS, click nav, and now you're using GPS going direct to WURTH on the GPS control of this VOR approach, and the bearing pointer, the blue bearing pointer, is verifying for you that you are in fact using over the VOR radial 339.
Perfect.
Makes sense?
Makes sense to me.
Okay, so that's the next step.
Well,
when you're doing this,
yep.
You want to be thinking, what am I doing now, and what am I going to be doing next?
Well, I want to talk about that because approach chart, you said WURTH 8700 to WURTH. I don't know where WURTH is. Oh, I see it now. I see it now.
You remember
the initial, initial fix WURTH MSO 16. So
that's 16 DME, and we're outside of that, right? Because where are we on the DME? We're 23 DME now, so
that's
we're
right.
We're 7 miles outside of WURTH. So
okay,
we're good.
CDI is getting close to showtime
right
here.
there. There's no rush. Well, you see how the blue bearing pointer now is that's right on the money.
I do.
That's probably good enough. So I would turn the heading now to 339.
All right, heading to 339.
340, somewhere around here.
All right, 339. We are turning.
Okay. Now you can minimize that. Go back to the nav display.
All right. Back to the nav display. Here we are.
Well, select flight plan.
Flight plan.
Highlight and rotate it down until WURTH is highlighted.
WURTH.
Yeah, so press the center button. Yeah, now just keep rotating until it comes down to WURTH.
All right.
Okay. Press D arrow direct.
Got it. And activate.
Activate, enter, activate.
All right.
Minimize the nav display. Go back to the PFD.
All right. And we're back to the PFD.
Press CDI until you get to the magenta GPS.
CDI is on GPS.
And then press nav.
All right. Pressing nav. All right. It's starting to turn.
Well, it shouldn't be doing that.
Well, it's doing a little bit of a turn because we're off by just a hair.
It looks like course correction.
You can see that the CDI, it's close, but it wasn't right on the
Destination ATIS is 126.65.
I wouldn't expect it to do that.
Well, fortunately, we're in VFR-over-the-top conditions, so we could verify that we weren't getting in any trouble doing that.
That doesn't make sense. I don't understand that because WURTH should have been straight in front of us.
Well, let me have a look here. Oops, excuse me. Let me try that again. So, WURTH is supposed to be on the 159 radial, which should be 339. Right when we cross it, we should be 339 to MSO.
Right.
So,
but we were on that radial on the VOR when we did that. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
Well,
so now, if if you want to make sure things are really correct, minimize the PFD, go to the nav display,
Yep.
and look at the flight plan and make sure that the fixes ahead of us are correct. We got WURTH. The next one should be STEVI, I think.
STEVI. Yep. ERRIK.
ERRIK. And then MAJOS.
Yep.
Okay, so that's good.
That looks
You're
good. Now, I notice on the PFD that we have, it looks almost like a glide slope indicator. There's an 8700. I'm guessing that's part of the flight plan? The pink 8700 on the PFD.
Yeah, this airplane is a WAS airplane. So remember the numbers we talked about, 8700, that was that line to WURTH intersection, right? So that's the minimum altitude for that segment, okay?
I see.
We went to 9,000 to make sure that we were well above any terrain, so that we were good.
All right, WURTH to STEVI, this leg has just begun. And now if I look at my VOR-B approach chart, we are advised to descend to 8100 by the time we reach STEVI?
That's correct, yeah.
All
and
right.
if you look, what was that course to STEVI? 339?
The course to STEVI is 339, and it looks
And
like...
the magenta box there, course, has 339, so that's what you want, right? That's correct.
So that's good.
So go ahead and set 8100 in there.
All right, 8100 altitude.
And then go to vertical speed. And,
vertical speed, nose down.
How much distance do we have to go? 5.4
5 nautical miles.
That's not steep at all, so you can go 500 or 600 feet down per minute.
All right, 500 or 600 feet down per minute. We're going to go ahead and lower the throttle to keep our speed.
Yeah, you
line.
can keep. Usually, what'll happen is if you didn't, then because you're reducing load on the engine and the propeller, the RPM will increase. So if you just bring it back to 2,500 RPM, something like that, you're not over revving the engine, and you're getting back some of your speed over the ground that you lost in the climb. It's efficient that way. Now, if you look up here next to the altitude indicator, there
on the PFD?
Yes, that's correct. There's some dots there. Like a glide slope, but at the very top you can see about half of a magenta diamond.
I see that.
That's a glide path indicator.
All right.
So what that's showing you is you're actually below the glide path right now that it's calculating. But you're not doing anything wrong. Well, that's going to come in handy, very handy towards the last part of the approach, because if you were lined up for a runway and you were at the final segment of the approach and you were descending and that diamond was in the dead center, when you came out of the clouds, the VASI or PAPI would be red over white. You'd be right on the money.
Got it.
So that's a very...
Red over red means you're too low, white over white means you're too high. Is that right?
That is correct, yeah. So this thing is a very valuable tool. And right now, it doesn't really matter that it's saying you're a little below the path I calculate, but you're not below where you're legally supposed to be, right? 8100 for this segment is the altitude. Now, once you cross STEVI, then you can go to 6680, and of course you can't set that in there, so I'd put 6700. So that'll be your next altitude.
I can see the magenta diamond is starting to drift downward, so that's good. We're actually going to be crossing STEVI here in just about 10 seconds.
Now, what you can do if you want to just see how this thing works is don't start down until that diamond is centered.
All right.
And then use vertical speed. Go ahead and put 6,700 up there now.
All right.
Once we got altitude hold up there, you can change that altitude.
Understood. All right, here we go. Vertical speed, nose down. We'll try 600.
Try maybe 300 or 400 until that diamond centers, and then try to match.
All right.
So the nav unit has calculated that descent path for you.
It looks like we're high, and we need to descend faster in order to.
Okay, so just add 100 or add 200. And whatever it's going to take to keep that diamond centered.
All right, we are
because you know, it's only in 100 increments. You may not be able to get it exact.
There we go. I think we've got it. It's drifting back up nice and slow toward the center.
All right, all right. Now, you know what you can do?
What's
if
that?
you close that thing, that PFD, and you go, I have to look at my keypad. If you go Control W.
Control W.
Yeah, close that PFD. Minimize the PFD.
It's all, yeah, I've got it. I've got it.
On the keypad, go Control W.
I've done that.
And you'll be looking out in front of the airplane, right?
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
It's something. Here, let me turn my track IR on. Oh no, it doesn't do anything.
And then if you just press W again, it'll take you back inside the cockpit.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're doing a pretty good job here. We're going to be on glide slope here real shortly, and I'm going to go ahead and nose up and slow this descent down. And we're actually hitting our waypoint here. We're going to be headed to our next waypoint.
All right, so the next one we can go down to, now that's going to be minimums, right? 4920 or 5,000, because we can't put 4920.
5,000.
You agree with that?
I do agree with that. VS nose down.
There you go. Now let's do a before landing checklist. Remember we had the B-gumps, boost pump,
all right,
gas full of tank, mixture, full rich,
all right,
propeller forward.
Fuel pump is on. Let's see, B-gumps. Gear is fixed. Okay, actually, sorry, G is not gear.
G is for gas.
Gas.
Tank.
Do we have
U
gas?
is for undercarriage, down and lock.
That's fixed.
M is for mixture. Full rich.
Full rich mixture.
P is for propeller. Now that would be if you had a constant speed prop. You're going to full forward in the event you needed to go around. You'd want that. Okay, now you're about 1 dot above the calculated glide path, so I would increase the vertical descent by at least 100.
All right, got it.
You don't want to get too high on short final.
That makes sense. All right, I think we've...
Okay, you're looking good.
Yeah.
How far till the missed approach point?
Let's see, MAJOS. Is MAJOS our missed approach point?
Yeah, it appears that it is.
3.0 nautical miles.
Yeah, and that's also 1 DME if you look on the chart.
Alrighty.
Now you can go to Control W again and look out front, see if you see anything.
I do not.
Okay, and then back to W, and you'll go back to the instruments.
All right.
Now remember our plan. If we break out of the clouds and see the runway, we're going to make a right turn to 030, right?
030 on visual.
This is circle the land approach. And you can look up here. This thing says that we're pretty much still on the 339 radial.
Yep.
The GPS and the VOR are going to be just a little bit different. If you really wanted to look, you could go to heading, hold again, and click the CDI to VOR and see if you're, right on the money. Just FYI, if you just wanted to see, or
sure.
You got a lot going on right now. So
VOR1 is off. Actually, it looks like we're not quite on the money.
How much off is it?
1 dot.
So 1 degree. We're 1 degree right, of course. That's okay.
All right. CDI back to GPS.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Glide slope, we're a little bit high, so we'll go ahead and nose
autopilot
down.
back to nav.
Autopilot to nav. Yep, nav mode.
Now, when you get down here real low, close to the missed approach point, down here between PFD and CDI, a white display is going to pop. It says SUSP, suspend.
All right.
If you have to miss the approach, you'll click the arrow under suspend.
Well,
and then that'll start sequencing the missed approach.
Got it. We are actually at...
Can you see anything?
No, I can't see anything.
Okay, so we're going to end up doing a missed approach here.
All right. Suspend.
Okay, so what you're going to need to do is click suspend.
I did it.
Full power.
Full power.
And you're going to have to set a higher altitude.
9,000?
Something.
VS, nose up.
Yes, sir, that's correct. So we're climbing up and out of here.
We're out of here.
And we want to make sure it's in nav, and we want to see what the next fix should be.
Let's see. Nav. Okay, we're taking a left-hand turn to Libre, which is the one that's on the missed approach. That's the one.
All right, that's it. Okay. Well, dang, we didn't get in.
I'll just do regular VFR. Watch this.
Yeah, I would do that.
Whoop, there we go.
A cab okay.
And there's our runway. Look at that.
That's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like when you can see it.
All right, so now we're going to be looking out to the left and seeing when it's appropriate to turn final approach.
I think I wasn't going 90 degrees to the runway. That's my bad. I was going more 45 degrees to the runway. That wasn't good, but
yeah. Well, you were kind of busy with a lot of stuff. I mentioned heading 030, and that somehow flew right over the cuckoo's nest.
it did, and I think I'm not pointed at the runway. This is not the runway.
What's it show on the map?
You got to see this. See what I thought it was?
What?
Oh.
Oh, that was a road?
That's a road.
What happens there is you get your name in the paper. I can see the airport at 11 o'clock if you want to just hold your altitude and fly over.
Sure, that's
Yeah,
fine.
That looks like a runway to me. Even Tyler can land on a real airport.
Oh, yeah. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
How we doing?
Looking over my left there, I see it out the window. I've got two whites and two reds on the Pappy.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, it's at 1 o'clock. I got it.
Yep. For whatever reason, I can't bring it down any further.
You can't bring what down?
I can't
Flaps?
bring the flaps down any further. I don't know why that is, but it's not responding. So
That's
I'll land with 10 degrees and I'll write it up.
yeah. That's what you're gonna have to do, I guess.
I've talked to the crew chief, or talked to
What you got to do is put some more quarters in the slot.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. No kidding.
Classic.
I was getting a little squirrely close to the ground here. It's going to be a little low.
I lost you again.
Oh, shoot. Well,
Oh, you're looking good, man.
oh, that was a little bit of a rough one.
I missed it
Ah.
right at the point of impact. I lost.
It was center line.
Well, that's what counts.
Nice.
The landing gear hold together.
Yeah, we're good.
Have you got it?
I'm still parking this plane.
Oh, you take this very seriously.
I do. I told you I'm good at this stuff when you're on the ground.
No, I don't either.
I'm gonna have to write up this report for the crew chief later.
Yeah, you tell the dog he doesn't have priority here.
Well, you try telling him that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. But this was great, Dad. Thanks for another good flight.
Yeah, whenever you want to do it, just let me know, man. My sim's always running.
Good times.